Hello everyone, welcome back to the Global Conflict News channel. Please subscribe my channel. The war in Ukraine has taken yet another dramatic turn as reports of huge explosions rocking Russia continue to spread, showing that Ukraine is pushing its campaign far beyond the front lines and into the very infrastructure that fuels the Russian war machine. The latest wave of attacks has centered on oil depots, refineries, and fuel storage facilities deep inside Russia, leaving massive fires burning across the night sky and shaking confidence in Moscow's ability to protect its vital energy assets. For Ukraine, these strikes represent not only a symbolic demonstration of reach and resilience but also a strategic effort to cripple the logistical backbone of Russia's invasion forces. The exterior view of this development is explosive and dramatic. Videos shared across social media show enormous fireballs rising into the air, accompanied by shockwaves that lit up the skyline in regions hundreds of miles from the Ukrainian border. Oil depots and refineries are among the most sensitive and flammable targets in any conflict, and the intensity of the blasts left entire neighborhoods covered in thick black smoke. Residents nearby reported the ground shaking as if an earthquake had struck, and emergency services were deployed in droves to contain the infernos. From the outside, what the world is witnessing is a display of Ukraine's growing ability to strike deep inside Russian territory, with pinpoint accuracy that not only delivers a psychological blow but also underscores Kyiv's determination to disrupt the very energy flows that keep Russia's economy and military supplied. Moving inside the story, the interior details of these attacks reveal the careful planning and intelligence work that went into them. Ukraine has invested heavily in drone technology, sabotage networks, and long-range strike capability, all of which have now converged to target Russian oil facilities at unprecedented scale. Interior sources from the Russian Emergency Ministry admitted that several of the fires burned for hours before being brought under control, and in some cases required reinforcements from multiple regions. This interior perspective highlights the vulnerability of Russia's infrastructure, which despite being heavily guarded, cannot withstand a constant barrage of Ukrainian ingenuity. The interior of this operation also reveals Ukraine's determination to fight asymmetrically, knowing that direct confrontation with Russia's massive arsenal can only go so far. By striking at oil, Ukraine hits the bloodstream of the Russian economy and military, forcing the Kremlin to stretch its defenses ever thinner. The performance of Ukraine's strikes has been both destructive and symbolic. Each explosion not only reduces Russia's capacity to fuel tanks, aircraft, and trucks but also demonstrates the evolution of Ukraine's military strategy. Where once Ukraine's performance on the battlefield was about defending territory, now it is about projecting power into Russia's heartland. This performance shows adaptability, resilience, and innovation in warfare. Ukrainian drones flying hundreds of kilometers across Russian airspace, often undetected until the final moments, highlight how Kyiv has mastered technology once thought beyond its grasp. The performance of these weapons leaves a clear message: Russia is not safe within its own borders, and its energy lifelines are targets that can be struck again and again. This gives Ukraine a performance advantage not measured in captured land but in psychological impact and strategic disruption. The safety features, if we may describe them in this context, revolve around Russia's attempts to defend its facilities and the failures that are becoming increasingly visible. Oil depots are guarded by anti-aircraft systems, radar installations, and security forces, yet the safety features meant to protect them are being overwhelmed by the sheer persistence of Ukrainian strikes. For Russian civilians, these safety features have proven insufficient, as they are left vulnerable to the dangers of massive fires, explosions, and air quality hazards. Firefighters rush into blazing infernos without full protection, while nearby towns face evacuation risks. In terms of Ukraine, the safety features involve using unmanned systems to carry out the attacks, ensuring that no Ukrainian personnel are lost while delivering maximum damage. Drones, sabotage units, and precision strikes provide a form of safety for Ukrainian forces, allowing them to inflict harm without direct exposure to Russian retaliation. Yet these safety features are not foolproof, as Russia continues to adapt its air defenses, but the repeated breaches suggest that Moscow's security apparatus is far from airtight. The unique selling points of this Ukrainian strategy lie in its ability to combine symbolism with real-world consequences. On one hand, each oil facility destroyed is a reminder to the Russian public that the war is not far away in distant Ukraine but burning within their own towns and cities. On the other hand, these strikes have tangible economic consequences. Russia is one of the world's largest oil producers, and any disruptions to refining and storage capacity ripple through both domestic supply chains and international markets. Ukraine has identified oil as the pressure point where a single strike can deliver multiple outcomes: reduced military fuel supplies, damaged economic stability, shaken civilian morale, and increased political pressure on the Kremlin. This unique approach distinguishes Ukraine's campaign from traditional battlefield tactics, making it a hybrid strategy that combines military and psychological warfare. The price of these attacks is significant for both sides. For Russia, the financial losses from destroyed oil infrastructure run into the billions. Oil depots and refineries are not only expensive to build but also difficult to replace quickly under sanctions and wartime conditions. Insurance rates for Russian facilities will skyrocket, and foreign investors will grow increasingly wary of an economy under constant threat. The price also extends to the political arena, where the Kremlin must explain to its citizens why the war is now causing devastation inside Russia itself. For Ukraine, the price is also considerable. Each drone or long-range strike consumes resources that are limited and often reliant on foreign partners. Retaliation from Russia is always a looming price, as every Ukrainian strike invites a new wave of missile or drone attacks on Ukrainian cities. The price also involves diplomatic balancing, as some allies may fear escalation when Ukrainian strikes reach too far inside Russian territory. Nonetheless, Kyiv appears willing to pay this price, calculating that the benefits outweigh the risks. The conclusion to this phase of the conflict is that Ukraine has effectively rewritten the script of the war. What began as a defensive struggle to survive has evolved into an offensive campaign capable of reaching into the heart of Russia's infrastructure. By targeting oil facilities, Ukraine has struck at the core of Russia's economic and military power, proving that no distance is too great and no target is untouchable. The explosions seen across Russia are not isolated incidents but part of a broader strategy that will likely continue as Ukraine refines its technology and tactics. The war is no longer just about territory, it is about energy, psychology, and the ability to sustain a prolonged conflict. For Russia, this means an increasingly difficult battle to secure its own homeland while still trying to maintain pressure on Ukraine. For the world, these explosions serve as a reminder that the war has global implications, influencing energy prices, security calculations, and the future of modern warfare.